everybody. Welcome in Friday here with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. We are set up here in Prattville at Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And Barry, we kind of threw a wrinkle at our audience this morning because we went to a different area of the showroom, and we're over here near the service department. Kind of want to show a little love to this part of the dealership.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're a little bit of a different perspective. Our goal is sooner or later, throughout the course of our association, we want to kind of show off at some point every area of Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And also, we're really cognizant of our sales associates here.
Yeah.
Because when we're over there, and we've done it back there before, all those sales associates over there, when they get around the water cooler and they're talking about, hey, man, did you hear what John Longshore and McKnight said over here? Yeah, they were set up right beside me. All these people over here are like, well, we can't hear them that well. What did they say? So, okay, so we're over here. We're kind of spreading the love. You associates over here, you get a chance to lord it over them and say, hey, man, did you hear what John said about the 68 Ventures Bowl last night? Oh, my gosh. Oh, man, you got to hear him? Lucky.
Yeah, and that goes back to many, many years ago when I made a statement about Dallas Cowboy quarterback Dak Prescott, and the whole sales staff just stopped in the tracks.
Because it was so outrageous. Dak wasn't a top 5 quarterback? Okay.
Yeah, top
Not
10.
A top 10? No. And not a top 15 quarterback? Everybody, I mean, you could hear people's sneakers, squeaking on the Dak Prescott, not anybody's looking, and all of a sudden it got real quiet in here. And even John was looking around like, what?
What?
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Dak Prescott, not at the everybody's,
based
shaking
on
their head and kept on going.
His performance and the record of the Cowboys since that statement. I think that's pretty spot on. But don't want to harp on Dak Prescott unless you really want to today.
He's able to, believe me.
I'm more than happy to do that if you'd like to.
Yeah.
We're here in Prattville, Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where price sells cars. Now, people can look at the calendar. They know where we are. A couple of days after Christmas, getting headed toward the new year. End of the month savings here at Styers. Always going to get great deals, but at that end of the month, we always say it's advantage car buyer because they want to meet and exceed those sales goals. Detroit loves seeing that. And they're going, man, what are they doing down there in Prattville at Styers CDJR? They're selling vehicles because price sells cars, and Barry, they have a lot full.
It's amazing. I was watching the other day, as we do every year, A Christmas Story.
Yes.
Do you remember when Ralphie's dad and Ralphie's mom take him into town? This is just before the oh fudge moment when the old man is taking him to go buy a Christmas tree. He's dickering with that guy, and he says, that's not much of a tree. Heck, that ain't no tree. Here's a tree. Now, those trees don't have the needles that fall. No, those are them balsams. He says, my old man loved to deal. And the guy's over there and saying, I tell you what, I'd see you're a man who knows his trees. I'll throw in some rope and I'll tie it to your roof.
How about that?
That's a deal. Knocks off $5. You go to some car dealerships, John, and they say, I tell you what, I'll knock $100 off of this.
Oh, yeah.
Like $100?
Wow, not worth my
time. Is that the best you can do?
Come on.
Some of the discounts on manufacturer suggested retail price here at Styers, it ain't no, oh man, I could save you $25 on that right now. Some of them are in the thousands.
Yeah. Oh, multiple
thousands.
Now, Barry, we all know that right here at Styers in Prattville, they are Alabama's largest volume Ram dealer, but it goes even beyond that.
Yep.
The panhandle of Florida, from Tallahassee to Pensacola, all the way up to Huntsville, that entire area, the largest volume Ram dealer. So what am I talking about there? Well, obviously the Ram 1500s are extremely popular, and they've got a whole host for you to choose from.
Right there facing the front of Cobbs Ford Road, there are
everywhere.
A dozen right there, just there.
And in the sides and in the rear of the vehicle, up to $20,000 off MSRP or 4.9% APR for 72 months on a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn. That's right, brand new, up to 20 grand off or 4.9% APR for 72 months. And Barry, we're not talking about 4 or 5 that are just trying to move. Every Ram on the lot.
Yeah. Hey, you can go someplace and some guy can say, hey, I'll knock $50 off just for you because I can tell you're at $50. We're talking $20,000 off. Nowhere else.
If you want to
Styers.
Step it up, go to the Ram 2500 Laramie package, up to 15 grand off of that, 10 grand off 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee, or 72 months at 0%. Great deals on the Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. You're going to save thousands on all of these vehicles, Barry. Not only is it the end of the month, it's the end of the year. Extremely advantageous for you, the car, truck, or SUV buyer here at Styers in Prattville, where Price sells cars. Barry, we talked a lot about this yesterday. My friends at Yellowhammer News sent me some information about some other programming around the country that was talking about the same topic. College football playoff television ratings.
Right.
That seems to be a hot topic about really how bad they've been through the first round of games. A lot of people are blaming it on the matchups. Indiana, SMU not moving the needle, getting people to their television screens. The other games weren't great. Being a playoff, you'd think they would be better. They're blaming the NFL. Understand the Christmas games on Netflix, the ratings were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
What is it about pro football that America loves more than college?
For instance, as an example, I haven't seen them yet. They haven't been released yet. But yesterday, there were 3 games in college football. And yes, I watched, not John just checked in, I watched 3 of them. All 3 of them. I watched the Kansas State win over Rutgers, 44-41.
It was on where I was, so does that count? I did see a little.
It was
of that.
actually playing in a space that you occupied,
and it was a high-scoring game, if I recall.
It was. There were several.
Okay.
Kansas State wins it. They come from behind in the second half.
Okay.
Pretty good game, 44-41.
All right.
In the whatever bowl it was in Phoenix. In Detroit, the first game, 6 overtimes. Toledo 48, Pittsburgh 46. The Pittsburgh coach totally screwed them out of a victory at the end of regulation.
If I listen to a little bit of it on satellite radio and it's got the logos of the team on the screen, does that
counts
count?
as watching
Okay.
it. Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's 2.
And then the third one last night down in Mobile, the 68 Ventures Bowl, Arkansas State gets their first bowl win since 2019 under Butch Jones. They beat Bowling Green, that's Ohio, 38-31. 3 high-scoring games, plenty of spills and chills. That Arkansas State game, just in the first half, they had a punt return touchdown for Arkansas State, a fake punt touchdown for Bowling Green, a blocked field goal and everything. I mean, chills and spills. I'm leading up to a point here. Plenty of action.
I thought the game in Mobile, was that on like ESPN or ESPN2?
It began on ESPN2 because the game before that was overtime.
That makes sense.
Okay, so plenty of points. I mean, every one of those games went 69 points, 85 points, and 94 points. Plenty of points. I guarantee you those ratings on ESPN, if you probably combine all 3 of them, they were not as much as last night's Amazon Prime game where Seattle beat the Bears 6-3.
Oh, 6-3.
Now,
Barry, that's a great point. You got a low-scoring, boring NFL game.
Boring.
9 points scored total on a streaming service that you got to look for. I mean, you know me. Button here, button there, whatever.
Everybody else in your family knows exactly.
They do, yeah. They certainly do. That's why I usually get them to turn it on. If a 9-point NFL game on a streaming service outrates any of those 3 games and possibly all 3 combined, what does that tell you? We got too many bowl games. Maybe some of the teams that are playing in bowl games don't need to be. I don't know how to say this without being a little insensitive.
Oh, boy.
But there are teams in bowl games. I'm going, this team's in a bowl game? Toledo? What? It seems like a lot of these games now are teams from conferences, and you're going Mountain West, MAC, don't know what conference this team's from. They got a lot of that going on. Maybe if there are more games that the general college football fan or just sports fan is familiar with, maybe those ratings will inch up a little bit. But as I've said for so many years, Barry, I don't really believe ESPN's really worried about ratings for games like these this time of year. They're putting 3 or 4 on a day, all during the day. They got to have programming. You can only rerun World Series of Poker so many times, and it probably doesn't cost that much to send a couple 18-wheelers to Mobile and, set up about 5 or 6 cameras.
Yep, there you go. But also, I never have understood there are too many bowl games, because that's like saying there are too many fishing shows. Well, no, nobody expects you to watch them all, The thing that I think has become apparent through the first week, why the ratings have not been especially great for the opening round games, is because there are teams in there, it's the college football playoff. But people know better. People know better. I am totally with Theotis on this. Theotis, big shout out to you. Theotis says there are too many teams in the college football playoffs. I mean, what that showed us in the first week is that something that I've said before many times when John and I kicked this subject around. There's not really 12 teams worthy of winning a national championship. And I think that was borne out. God bless Indiana. I love them. My sister and my brother-in-law and my mom are there right now celebrating Christmas. But they weren't going to win the national championship. Neither was SMU. Tennessee, that was the best part of the whole thing, to be honest.
Well,
I agree. I think people realize it. They're like, yeah, wait until we get to some of the really good games. Then I'll watch.
I agree with some part of that statement from you and Theotis.
Hey, that's the best I can do.
And thank you, Theotis. Good morning, Ty, Terrence. Appreciate the good mornings and the salutes this morning. Barry, they've got too many of the wrong teams in the playoff. It's not that that they've got too many. It's too many of the wrong teams that are there. Because there again, I use the Dallas Cowboy analogy. Doesn't matter what your record is, you're the Cowboys. So we're going to put you on Thanksgiving, and we're going to put you on Monday night, and we're going to put you on at the 3:25 window during the regular season, because that's who America wants to see. So you put teams that are more familiar with the college football fan, casual or hardcore. That's the problem. The wrong teams are in it. So I lead it to this. On Tuesday, New Year's Eve,
yes,
we will be on the air previewing the Alabama-Michigan ReliaQuest Bowl, kind of a pregame, if you will. How about this? I'm just going to throw it out there for our viewing and listening audience. Alabama and Michigan will kick the day off in Tampa. Later that day, you'll have Penn State and Boise playing in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, I believe it is. What game will have a better rating? If Alabama and Michigan, two well-known programs that played in a college football playoff semifinal game last year that went to overtime, outrate a college football playoff game. Now, Penn State's a big dog, but Boise's not helping them out any.
This is what drives me absolutely bananas. This is what drives me absolutely nuts. This is not what America was built upon. Who cares about results? We want flash and sizzle. Substance is overrated. We want something that gooses everybody up and gives them goose pimples. Forget about accomplishments. Who cares? I will tell you this.
Please.
The Dallas Cowboys analogy is a bad analogy. Here's a little history. John
How about the New York Yankees?
The first time we were together, doing a show was in March of 1997.
Wow.
We've been at it a long, long time together.
No kidding.
At no point from March 1997 to this very moment have we ever discussed, man, can you believe the Cowboys have won the Super Bowl?
That's true.
Never has happened.
Never
we
happened.
have never lived, he and I, in all of our years together, have had the opportunity to recap the Cowboys Super Bowl. Now, Jimmy from Montgomery got racked and got call of the day on Romy one time with help from a little Michael Irvin reference, but that doesn't count. This is what I'm talking about. The Cowboys ain't winning the Super Bowl. They ain't winning it this year. They haven't won it in nearly 30 years. But hey, let's put them on anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm talking about big boy stuff.
Yeah.
Real, actual results. And the teams that you saw last Friday and Saturday, half of them had zero chance of winning a college football playoff.
So,
but again, that's not what we're talking about.
But what teams in particular are you mentioning there?
Winning the Super Bowl. We're talking about them just being on.
And whether it's, fair or not, that's just the way of the world. People, the Cowboys are not going to win the Super Bowl, but we're still going to put them on Monday Night Football, and we're going to put them on at the 3:30 window on Sunday. Why? Because people watch the Cowboys. Doesn't matter what their record is. So when Alabama and Michigan play Tuesday, and the ratings for that 11 a.m. kickoff is better than SMU, Penn State, Indiana, Notre Dame, and possibly Penn State, Boise the same night, they'll have it. It doesn't matter. It's who draws the most eyeballs, and ESPN is paying $1 billion to broadcast this tournament. They want the best return on their investment, and SMU and Indiana and Boise aren't it. Yeah, give me Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. Put them in, kick those other ones out. And what happened this year is just pushing us even closer to that in the years to come.
Ooh.
Big boy conference, Big Ten, SEC splitting and doing their own thing. Oh, yeah.
Well,
call me crazy because, as Barry mentioned, what day was that again? We came on 97.
March 19th, 1996.
Yeah, it might not have been that exact day, but within a week, I said, Barry, we're going to a playoff.
It was that day.
We're going to a college football playoff.
It was that first hour together.
Yeah.
It may have been the first 15 minutes. Who knows?
So this is coming.
So the only flaw in what you're saying and what Bob from Pike Road is saying, Indiana didn't belong. Well, how do you know they didn't belong? Well, their schedule wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Well, what if they were really, 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 really good and they didn't play a tough schedule? I mean, just the schedule. If you're going just by the schedule, there have been teams that have won national championships that haven't been as talented as other teams who had a shot because they played a weaker schedule.
Yeah, okay.
The schedule does not define how good you are. Maybe you're really, really, really good with a bad schedule.
Well, I want to get into that a little further when we come back, because I've heard a lot of discussion about scheduling as well since we brought it up a couple of weeks ago. We've even heard more and more about that. I think that's a good point that I'd like to dive into a little bit more. Love the chats coming in on our River Region Straw chat line. You can email us, longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com, and our Marker Eats Exquisite Jewelry email inbox. The Phantom at the top of the next hour. Ralph Michaels, Wager Talk, and the Gold Sheet at the bottom of the next hour. Our Pick 3 is up and going. You can get in on our Dreamland Pick 3 this week. We've already gotten a lot of picks in on that at longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. We got the 777 topic wheel coming up today as well. So, Barry, we are rolling on this Friday from Styers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville.
Why is that technician in the service department looking at you and banging his head on the wall?
We'll be the first
you can hear us. That's okay. Yeah. I don't get it either. Yeah. Hey, it's John Longshore. It's Barry McKnight in conjunction with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight presented by Bud Light.
Hey, folks, you got to take advantage of the incredible holiday savings at Styers Ford in Montgomery, where they sell America's best-selling truck for 50 years in a row, the F-150. And you can get an F-150 at 1.9% APR for 60 months or up to 15 grand off MSRP and no payments for 90 days. Hundreds to choose from. Your F-150 is on the lot right now. Also, F-150 Lightnings, 15 grand off MSRP and 0% APR for 72 months. What about the stylish Ford Bronco? Up to 10 grand off MSRP, starting as low as $34,990. And it started it all with the Ford Explorer. You can get one for up to 8 grand off MSRP, as low as $33,900 and 1.9% APR for 66 months. Folks, Styers Ford is loaded with cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to sell. Styers Ford, 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery, where price sells cars.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy around during the next truck commercial, buy around during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make 2 plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the River Bank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
Okay, here we are back at it on this Friday. We're so glad we're here at Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in the preferred community, as they call it, Prattville, Alabama. We're at Alabama's largest volume Ram truck dealer. Not only in the state of Alabama, but Northwest Florida as well. From Tallahassee to Pensacola, all the way to Huntsville, there are more Ram trucks sold here at Styers than anywhere in those areas. And the reason why, you're going to save thousands on Ram trucks here at Styers. Up to 20 grand off 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn pickups. So many to choose from. There are Ram trucks all over the lot here at Styers. In the front, on the sides, in the rear. They've got your Ram truck right here, right now. And then you factor in, it's the end of the month, the end of the year. As they're trying to move these vehicles, they're, giving it to you at the absolute lowest prices. But go ahead and try to get that price even lower. We always say it, advantage car buyer, when we get here toward the end of the month and now the end of the year. It is absolutely fantastic. So many other great deals on the Jeep, the Dodge, the Chrysler, the Ram. You cannot beat it here at Styers. The selection, that's what I think is maybe one of the most impressive things, is their selection. The inventory is so large. It's not like you come up here, well, they're not going to have the color I want or the trim package or whatever. They got it.
Well, see, that's one of the reasons why I was just out there. I had to look at something out there because I saw the price walking in and I'm like, hang on, I can't be right. And I went and checked. And it's that way for several of them. It can be a little overwhelming because your vehicle's out here and there are so many out here, you may have difficulty locating it. That's one of the reasons why I love the staff here. The sales associates here are experienced, super friendly, and they're proud of the sticker prices. They're not trying to kind of block you away from taking a look at the sticker. But you get in here and you think, man, I have my heart set on a white Dodge Ram pickup. I don't know exactly where they are. Hey, these people will walk you through. They'll show you the sticker price. They'll say, okay, this is one of our white Ram pickups. Let's take a look at this one. Well, I kind of want it with a gray interior.
Got it.
Hang on, we got it right over here.
Yes.
You don't have to order it? No, it's right over here. I'll show you. That's one of the great things about it. The sales associates are proud of the inventory. They're proud of the prices. Nobody stocks more, nobody sells more than Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram here at Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, Alabama.
So my deal with the scheduling, Barry, is, okay, if you go 12-0, wow, we went 12-0. Look at us, we're great. You know, but who did you play? I mean, if SEC schools were somehow, some way, and some people think Texas got the benefit of a beneficial conference schedule, and if you look at it, I mean, most of their conference games were against teams that did not have great years. They did play Georgia and have gotten beaten twice by probably the best team they played all year. But, just because you win 12 games and you didn't play anybody, is that what we want? And as Nick Saban said a couple of weeks ago, maybe we need to reevaluate scheduling. Okay, we'll just all play easy schedules every year, and we'll schedule a bunch of LAMOs just so we can be 12-0. Because is that the benchmark? Doesn't really matter who you play. You're 12-0. You look at Indiana. Their schedule was pathetic. They got exposed when they played Notre Dame. They got exposed when they played Ohio State. I'm not sure they played another team with a winning record conference-wise or non-conference-wise. Their league schedule, and there again, just how it's scheduled in the Big Ten, was not that great. So do we want a bunch of teams getting in the playoff that end up getting exposed? Or maybe some teams that might have lost a game or two during the regular season, but we've seen what kind of product they put on the field during a 12-game regular season schedule.
Which the commentary is very SEC-centric around here. I know, I get it. I've been an SEC fan for my entire life. I understand the passion about it. But just immediately saying, and of course, Bob, getting a little profane a couple of times and bolstering his point by putting it in all caps.
Yeah.
That's a big move there, Bob. The automatic belief that Alabama deserved to be in more than an SMU deserved to be in. Well, are we talking about the Alabama we saw against Oklahoma versus, say, the Indiana we saw beating Nebraska by 7 touchdowns? I mean, if you're talking eye test there, is that just that definitive to where
I would say
you feel strongly just out of play? Everybody knew it. Bob says everybody knew that. I don't know.
Well, I would say
versus Oklahoma,
Nebraska is not that great.
No.
If that's your biggest win, it's Nebraska. Or there again, Alabama's, beat the SEC champion.
Correct.
And then Indiana was exposed in their last game, getting humiliated. So we saw what kind of team they are.
Well,
same with SMU. I mean, they go to Happy Valley and get exposed. So there again, the touchy-feely of SMU and Indiana and Boise, that's great, but that's not when the doors are shut and the board meeting starts. That's not who they want, and the television ratings are telling us that. That's not what America wants. There again, it doesn't matter that the Cowboys are 500. That's what America wants. They want the Cowboys.
And they are not playing in the Super Bowl. Again, the people in the boardrooms, the people who are making the decisions, they gave you SMU. They chose Indiana.
Whoa, no. The committee gave us SMU.
Right.
ESPN didn't give us SMU.
Oh, you're talking about the boardrooms and the TV.
Yes.
We're not talking about actual results.
The ones that are
We're
paying
talking about
the paying for the right to broadcast.
To that, I say this. Nebraska, maybe Indiana didn't belong. Maybe SMU didn't belong. Maybe Tennessee didn't. And then again, with this expanded playoff, maybe Alabama didn't either. Maybe Ole Miss didn't either. Maybe South Carolina. You get a larger playoff, by definition, it's going to be watered down. Why is there 12? It's as a gift to the television networks. Why isn't there 8? Because they're not worried about getting teams that really have a chance or deserve or are good enough to win a national championship. They're watering it down and just giving you more games. Just put something up there.
And they are. But they're doing, and there again, we've talked about how college football in particular is turning into the NFL light. And it is. And if you're going to be the NFL, you're going to expand it. And people are, there again, teams that are recognizable. And that's why I think the next step, if things are not changed, is the Big Ten and the SEC are going to go do their own thing. And they can have a playoff amongst the teams in their conferences and not have to deal with the SMUs and the Indianas and whomever of the world. And that's what the networks want, because they know what programs generate the most revenue and the best television ratings. That's who they want in the playoffs. Same with the NFL. So what if this team's one game over 500 and I think the NFL has 14 teams that make the postseason out of 32? It doesn't matter. And it's the same thing with a big boy conference in college. Name recognition, teams that people that generate the ratings, they get the revenue. That's what they want. They don't want these touchy-feely, oh, these are college kids.
See, if somebody has a point against John, it's because they're warm and fuzzy or touchy-feely, and they're not rough and tough and hard and mean and nasty. I know he gets excited. He says the SEC and the Big Ten, they want their own thing. They don't want the SMUs and Indianas. Yep. He gets excited. Mm-hmm. He knows Indiana's in the Big Ten. He knows that, okay?
No doubt.
He's just getting a little bit worked up. You got to give him
but
that.
We all know year in and year out, Indiana's not making a playoff. And you're going to have these one-and-done type teams. It happens all the time. Oh, they get hot for a year, and then they're crummy again, and they go to their rightful place of being a bottom feeder. I think back when Gary Barnett took Northwestern to the Rose Bowl, things like that happen from time to time. But through the years, consistently, the teams that are always there, those are the ones that they want in the playoff every year. The consistent part of it. Yeah, we're going to get this little Cinderella story. It's kind of like, Butler making it to the Final Four in basketball, and Jim Nance goes wax poetic about, oh, isn't this great about Butler? Nobody cares about Butler, but you got to pump them up a little bit, make it kind of Hollywood-like, and they could do that in the college football playoff. Yeah, no doubt about it. But even though I've used those terms, you've yet to hear the lip flutter. I mean, I'm
about done.
I haven't thrown the lip flutter at you
yet.
It
just frustrates me because John is basically telling me it doesn't matter how good you are. And Bob from Pike Road is, he says, come on, Barry, that's weak sauce to compare. Which was the better win? I get it. The first half against Georgia was the best half of football I saw anybody play all year, and Alabama turned that in. Second half, not so much, but it was a win. I get that. Indiana's win over Nebraska was totally dominant. Nebraska's not that good. I understand. But which was worse? Indiana's loss against Notre Dame, they were outclassed, or Alabama's loss to Oklahoma. The quality wins mean something, but man, those losses are hard to explain.
Well, right? And I think it all goes back to who would generate the better ratings. And I think it's going to be interesting. Excuse me. If Alabama, Michigan outrates Boise and Penn State, what's that going to tell you? If they outrate some of the SMU, Penn State, or the Indiana Notre Dame game, what's that going to tell you? And the television networks are going to certainly see that.
Bob brings up the TCU Georgia game. He loves that one.
TCU Georgia. Oh, yeah,
for the one of 66 to something.
Yeah.
Did TCU not beat an undefeated Michigan team the game before? I mean, it ain't as though TCU came in there with their hat in their hands. It's just bothered me because some people believe that the good teams will always be good and the also-rans will also be also-rans. This is America where you can be anything you work hard towards being, but some people are unwilling to let people up, to uplift them. Indiana will always be terrible. Even when they're 11-1, they're terrible. They're Indiana. Yeah. Alabama will always be good. Even when they lose 3 games, we deserve to be in. That team is not going to win a national championship. The reason why, if we go to a 16-team playoff, the number 17 team is going to be ticked off that they didn't get in. It's going to happen every year. This year, unfortunately, it happened to Alabama.
And I was very, up front. Alabama did not deserve to be in the 12-team playoff. I think the loss to Oklahoma is a 19-point favorite. You lose by 21. That did it. That sealed their fate right there. Were they better than Indiana? Could they beat Indiana? Yeah, I think they could.
I think they could.
Could they beat SMU? Yeah, I think they could beat them too. Don't know much about Boise.
Would they be favored by Vegas if they played?
Like I've been saying, let Vegas to select who needs to be in the playoff.
There was something on the ticker last night, one of the games, I forget which one it was. I should have written it down, but they had, let's just say it was one of the games today. And there are 5 games today, by the way. Oklahoma versus Navy. You look down at the bottom, it had Oklahoma favored by 3.5. But the ESPN predictor had Navy with a 54% chance to win or something like that. So wait a minute. You're saying Vegas thinks they're a 3.5-point favorite, but ESPN says the other team has a better chance to win? Huh. Sometimes the line is not necessarily built upon who is the significantly better team. It's based on what could get more money on that side. Interesting.
Or even money on both sides of the line.
Yeah.
Is what you're looking at there.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't have a problem with that. And I don't want to look. I've been through enough college football where we've used computers and matrix and all flux capacitors and all that kind of crap. No, I'm tired of that.
The teams that are good, John will tell you if they're any good. The teams that are wannabes will always be wannabes. Forget about uplifting your program or improving. You're always going to be bad, and Alabama's always going to deserve to be in it.
I didn't say that. There's other teams that are worthy. I've been high on Ole Miss in South Carolina. In these committees, why does it take so long? I could give you 12 teams in about 5 minutes. What are they doing?
And not only could he do it 12 teams in 5 minutes for this year's playoffs, he'll give you 12 teams in 5 minutes for next year's playoffs. The year after that, John will give you 16 teams for the 16-team playoff. He can do this 4 or 5 years in advance for you. It's going to be the same ones.
Only thing I can't do, Barry, I don't think I could go this far. I can pick them. I just don't think I can seed them just yet. So I'll definitely give you the 16 teams. That is not a problem. Now, seeding them, you got to give me a little minute on that to make sure we seed them correctly, which is something I think you're going to see next year. They're going to reseed these things like they do the basketball tournament. And how they did it this year was just atrocious. I mean, you got to be kidding me. But, I can do that, no doubt. Now, I will say this, Barry, and I don't know how to say this.
Don't even try.
Yeah,
just say it
but
the way you
finally
normally say
today, on the 27th of December, and it's number 5 child's birthday today. Happy birthday, young man.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, sir, turning 17 today.
What?
Yeah. Number 5 child. Number 4 child turned 17 in September. So now we got them all at the same age. All right.
Okay.
Oklahoma, Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Texas Tech, Southern Cal, Texas A&M. These are teams America can sink their teeth into. They know these teams. Syracuse, Washington State.
I knew he was going to get on that.
Well, what conference are they in? I mean, we've had so many games like Bowling Green and Toledo and Rutgers and Northern Illinois and UTSA. People are tired of that. They don't want to see those teams anymore. They want to start seeing some teams that they recognize. And say it's favoritism, say they're getting a little more benefit of the doubt because of their logo or who they are. It's like that star on the helmet for the Cowboys.
Oh, my
Or, as Frank Abagnale once said, it's the pinstripes with the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees could be 500, don't matter. They're the Yankees. I get it. Doesn't seem fair. When you're in Y ball and your team is not any good, but they still let you make the playoffs, and you got beat by 6 touchdowns in the first playoff game over at Peter Crump, and little Johnny's going home crying because he got embarrassed, losing by 6 TDs.
Please don't start equating this to participation trophies or anything like that. They have earned where they are. Are you telling me that tonight, with a 9:30 kickoff from Allegiant Stadium in Nevada, in Vegas, or Paradise, or wherever they have it, USC and Texas A&M will be a big draw.
Well, it's 7:30 out there. Now here, 9:30 Central, 10:30
Eastern.
That could be tough.
Oh, I've got to stay up. Honey, did you hear? Texas A&M is playing tonight.
The degenerate gamblers will be up watching that one. Plus, the other problem, Barry, is if you're on a hot streak, are you leaving to go to the game? I've actually had that happen in New Orleans, so it definitely can happen in Vegas. Maybe they should have casinos at the stadium. That would be kind of cool. You could roll dice and then look out there. Hey, look out there at the 20. Hey, roll them. Let's go. Dice are hot.
Anything to get Mr. ADD Longshore over here engaged. I mean, he's up there in whatever stadium watching whatever game. He's in the mahogany paneled skybox up there. He's sitting there wondering, what is this, an olive? I wanted a pearl onion.
Yes.
Meanwhile, somebody's having a 77-yard touchdown pass, and I'm going crazy. And John's saying, do you have any of those swizzle sticks shaped like a sword? I don't want the little one that looks like a toothpick with a bow at the end of it. Yeah. Come on. You know, that's the difference right here. John's got to have other stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about just the football.
Yeah, don't bore me with just the game. I got to have more. And I look back, Barry, to those years when I was a little kid going to Bryant-Denny, and it was 59,000 seats, and they had that scoreboard that looked like Crampton Bowl. And I look back and go, how did I enjoy that? How did that keep my attention? I guess I just didn't know any better back then, but you think about that compared to how games are played today and how it's presented. Whew.
Bright lights, flashing red lights over and over again. Huge, huge speakers, big videos.
Oh, yeah.
That's my guy right there. That's what he's at.
I'm going to tell you some other games that they're not going to do well in the ratings when we get back from our next break. I'm just amazed at all these games. Do we have too many bowl games? I know you talked about that earlier. Well, then don't watch them. Well, I think that's kind of what's happening. I do think we have too many bowl games. And back in the day, back when I was a little phantom, going to a bowl game meant something. There were about 10 of them, 12. And it was a big deal to go to a bowl game. Not everybody got to go. So you talk about participation trophies, that's what the bowl season's turned into. Let's let everybody go.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. He has spoken. That means it's time to go to break because the absolute end-all arbiter has given the lip flutter. It's our show here in the showroom of Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Book tee time sooner. Save on every round. That's what you get with the 2025 RTJ Trail Card. Destination Golf is closer than you might think. Buy a 2025 Trail Card and save every time you play. Plus, you will be automatically entered into the Trails Loyalty Program. Enjoy 10-day advance reservation privileges at each location. 11-day advanced internet tee times on rtjgolf.com and the RTJ app. Enjoy the benefits of a 2025 Trail Card. It makes for a great stocking stuffer, and you save on every round you play in 2025 on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail.
Hey, Guido, how was Christmas? I love Christmas, Vito, especially the 5 days after Christmas. What'd you say, Guido? Vito, it's Marguerite's 5-day absolute clearance sale. Like going to the kitchen and making a big old ham and cheese. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. Every price is clear as day. They're giving the ice away. We gotta call Mama. Ever heard about them 1-carat diamonds for only $250? They're kidding me. Them and Marguerite's are clearing the store. All new bling in 2025. Now through Monday, only at Marguerite's.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
All right, back at it here, about 15 minutes to the top of the hour. I understand the Phantoms coming back. A non-losing weekend.
Hey!
Non-losing weekend last week, Barry, on the college football playoff. And the Phantoms going to join us here again today at the top of the hour. Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet will join us as well. Lively discussion today about bowl games and the college football playoff, the ratings. And I'm going to go ahead and just clarify this. I'm not saying it. I just want you to look out for it because we've been talking a lot about ratings. And some of the college football playoff ratings were not very good. I mean, the NFL games tripled some of the ratings in the college football playoff. And I get it. Maybe it's not a fair comparison. I'm still trying to find what it is. What has the NFL done? How their marketing, the way they promote their product. And there again, you're watching a bunch of multimillionaires. Why does that translate into people wanting to watch?
Because it's been established for a long time. The reason why football as a whole has flourished more than baseball over the last 50 years is that football looks better on television.
I'd agree with that.
Baseball, you got a ball in the right field corner. The TV can't follow that and still show the guy digging around second and heading for third for a triple. Football, you just follow the ball basically, and you know the lines are there and it's linear and so all that. The NFL has figured that out. The most important man in the history of sports, except maybe like Jackie Robinson or something, the most important man in the history of sports was a guy named Pete Rozelle.
Oh, yeah.
He was the one that figured out that it's all about television. And he did whatever he could to get the NFL's television contract good. He was the one that was one of the driving forces behind, the merger with the AFL. And ever since that point, I mean, it's been killing it because they have totally 100% gotten in bed, pulled the covers up, and turned on the electric blanket with television. College football's a little bit late to that game.
Yeah.
But believe me, they're reaching over right now and turning out that light and giving college football that goodnight kiss.
All right, let me ask you this, and maybe we're showing our age. I do not recall a time when every NFL game was not on TV. Now, granted, you might not get it in your market.
Right, correct.
Unless you've got Sunday Ticket or whatever. But I don't ever remember a time when, hey, it's the NFL game of the week, and this is the only one that America's going to watch. Pittsburgh at Dallas or whatever. I just remember, Irv Cross and who was
Musburger, Jimmy the Greek,
Phyllis George. She was Miss America, I think, at one time.
Yes.
Every game was on, and just think how long it took college to go to that model. Because every college game wasn't, is it 10 years maybe? That every college game has been, every Auburn and Alabama game are on TV. That used to not be the case.
This all happened in 1984 when they decentralized the NCAA's role in what games are on TV and what games are not. The schools, particularly in 1984, Georgia and Oklahoma sued to say, we're entities in and of ourselves. We should be able to dictate what the market is for our televised product. The other thing, and people are already screaming it on the chat line, and they're screaming it on my phone right now. The NFL, behind the scenes, has gotten in bed with the gamblers. 3 things drive the NFL: TV, gambling, and fantasy football. There are people right now who are dog cussing Jonathan Taylor for Indianapolis for the Colts because he screwed his team out of a touchdown for dropping a football before he crossed the goal line, which I never can figure out. And that just killed their fantasy leagues. They don't care that Indianapolis may have won the game or whatever. It's just that the NFL has embraced those. College football is a little bit late, but there are people out here who keep bringing up over and over again, college football, the ivy-covered walls, the student athletes, the freshmen and sophomores who have to hurry and study for this test before they have to leave for their football game on the road. Forget all that. Let's make it more like the NFL.
Well, and there again, you've already seen that happen. We talked about it.
Yeah, we have.
Every game's on TV. Every Auburn and Alabama game every week. You don't have to go to the stadium. You can watch it in the comfort of your own home. Also, most every state in this country allows sports wagering, except a few. We happen to be in one of them. But there's a lot of gambling going on in college football as well. So those are two things that the college game has going for it, as the NFL has adapted to. You go to some of these college stadiums in states where they do allow sports wagering, there's signage in the stadium.
Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge.
Yes, sir. There's advertising for it. So what is the next step? Is there fantasy football in college? Is it just pro football? I don't play fantasy football, so I really don't know. But you see these different things where they're trying to emulate the NFL. Why? Because it makes a lot of money. It helps the bottom line. It helps with the revenue. Does SMU help the bottom line? Does Boise? Does Indiana?
Ooh. His voice got steadily higher with each one of those examples.
And I know it. Little Tommy's got a biology test he's got to take.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
The big boy conference that John keeps talking about, it really hurts his case when Indiana's good, when Indiana has a good, because they are in the Big Ten. Any big boy conference that John has referenced lately has been SEC Big Ten.
There again, you're going to have moments in time where something out of the ordinary happens. Let's take Missouri, for instance.
Okay.
They're in the SEC. Been to the SEC championship twice. Been back there since? Nope. Hadn't. They had their little moment in the sun. Those things happen. Steve Spurrier took South Carolina to the SEC championship game. It does. Mississippi State's been to the SEC championship game. So things like that happen. Nothing against our man Bart Heisch, but they went to the Final Four. Hadn't sniffed it since. So those things do happen. They're called like solar eclipses. They happen.
Yeah.
Just not every day.
You can't count on that every day.
No. So yeah, you're gonna have this little touchy-feely feel-good, and I'm not against it, Barry. I tell you, it's great theater. It's got that Hallmark movie kind of feel to it. Look at old Indiana. Look at them. Were you expecting to see them?
Yeah.
Rub them on top of the head. You go, Indiana. We'll see you in about 20 years. It's good. That is a unique. And in the NFL, I'll use my own team. Saints won the Super Bowl. Have they sniffed it since? No. I mean, that was a great story. Sean Payton with the onside kick to start the second half. It was great going up against Peyton Manning, who grew up in New Orleans. And what theater? It was great.
Hadn't sniffed it since. The issue will be, and I don't know if it'll be an ongoing issue because things have got to change in college football. They are at a breaking point. John is bringing up, they're becoming more and more like the NFL. They are struggling right now with NIL. We can't keep doing what we're doing. That can't keep happening. Things are bound to even out. And when I say even out, I'm saying even out for everybody. There's soon going to be a cap on NIL earnings or NIL disbursements by schools, where Ohio State and Michigan can't have a $25 million budget while Mississippi State is at $8 million. That thing is going to change. They're going to cap all that. So the Colorados of the world and the SMUs of the world and the Baylors of the world that are really putting out some serious NIL money that aren't exactly nationally renowned entities, they stand a better chance of being around the next year and the year after that and the year after that.
Barry, to me, it's fan fatigue. And
I
don't really consider myself a fan because I'm not a season ticket holder. But I do watch a lot of college football. And I know what's going on around SEC schools. I know what's going on at Auburn and Alabama. I talk to their fans. They're a little fatigued. They don't like the direction in which college football is going. And I particularly don't either. I do like the older version that we grew up with, but I get it. I understand there's got to be change and there's got to be some things that are different, but the loyalty is gone. Moving from team to team year after year, how do you really follow a program, follow a particular player, whatever it may be, when they're moving so often? When you've got the transfer, when you got the NIL, when you're hearing stories of quarterbacks driving Maseratis and they're on billboards all over downtown Atlanta. That's not what we grew up with, watching and enjoying and consuming college football, college athletics. And you're right. If they do not put some type of stopgap measure, some rule book, everybody's on the same page. And I think it's got athletic directors and commissioners all across this country extremely concerned.
No question about it. And it's not just in football. Real quick, got a break coming up before the top of the hour and the Phantom. We're starting to see the current conditions in college athletics chase people out. Tony Bennett, the head basketball coach at Virginia, who won the national championship because a referee totally swallowed his whistle on a double dribble in the semis against Auburn. Tough. He's out. Yesterday, Jim Larinaga, the head coach at Miami, whose team was in the Final Four a couple of years ago, he's done. He says, I'm exhausted. I can't deal with it. We were in the Final Four, and right afterwards, 8 of my guys left in the transfer portal. I said, what's wrong? Don't you like it here? They said, oh, we love Miami, but we got a chance to make much more money somewhere else.
Sure.
But you liked it. Nick Saban. You don't think the current landscape of college football at least played a factor in him deciding to move out? I mean, they cannot continue this route when you lose good people like that.
Duke, North Carolina in basketball. You mentioned Saban in football. I totally get that. I totally get it. And I'll say this, Barry, and I've heard the rumblings. It just hit me. Some people have asked about Nate Oates. To me, Nate Oates is an NBA coach. I could see Nate Oates coaching in the NBA one day because of his style of play. Does Nate Oates one day say, I've had it with this college stuff? And he's been fortunate so far. Some players come back. Mark Sears, his best player. But what if something like that happens to a Nate Oates and 4 or 5 of his guys say, I'm out of here, coach? That's just going to push these guys further and further away from the game that they loved, and what they signed up for is not what it is today.
So what we're talking about in terms of the playoff, in terms of the staying power of some of these programs at the top, it all may change in the next. It's changed so foundationally over the last 5-8 years. It's got to take a step back in the other direction with a little bit more structure. I don't know what it's going to look like, but what we're talking about right now, the way things are right now in college football, both John and I absolutely agree that it may look totally different in a year and a half, 2 years. So bear that in mind in terms of the context of our conversation. Let's take a break. When we come back, the Phantom?
I think so. He pulled up.
Here we go. That's coming up when Longshore and Monk Night continues from Styers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, Alabama, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
There we are. Now we're back here at Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. Before we make way for the Phantom, Barry, I think we need to let everybody know what's going on here at Styers. End of the month, end of the year. Advantage car buyer.
Absolutely. They are trying not only to blow past their December goals, their sales goals, but man, they're looking to close 2024 with a flourish. They're getting into 2025. They're getting vehicles in all the time. They've got to move the 2024s out, get more 2025s in for the start of a brand new year. They want to close out 2024 with a flourish, John. If that doesn't speak advantage car buyer to you, I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, Barry, they've got so many vehicles on the lot for you to choose from. It's not just 4 or 5 they're trying to move out. Every vehicle on the lot, in the front of the dealership, on the sides, in the rear. Drive around. You owe it to yourself to see everything they've got here. It's Alabama's and Northwest Florida's largest volume Ram truck dealer, where you can save up to $20,000 off MSRP or 4.9% APR for 72 months on a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn pickup. And there are so many to choose from, you're going to save thousands. Also save $15,000 on a 2024 2500 Laramie package. If you're interested in one of those, great deals on the Jeep Wrangler. You can get one at up to $16,000 off. Also, a Jeep Gladiator Rubicon up to $14,000 off, and you can get up to $22,000 off a 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer L Series. Man, what a deal. The savings are tremendous here at Styers in Prattville, where price sells cars.
Come on by and see them today, tomorrow, the entire weekend into 2025. We love it here. It's just a short drive here, just off I-65 in Prattville from anywhere. The biggest volume dealer of these vehicles in the state of Alabama and Northwest Florida.
All right, Chris, I'm going to move out of the way to let the Phantom come in. And then when the Phantom's finished up, we're going to spin the wheel, Chris. We are going to spin the wheel.
In the words of Chris, we are going to spin the freaking wheel.
Yeah.
But right now, it is once again time to present, brought to you by River Region Straw, the Phantom is in. Kenny and the staff, Phantom, have been sponsoring the Phantom's Premium 4 for years and years. And, you know, sooner or later, I don't know what the deal is, but it's going to get cold, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you need to make sure you have stocked up all that premium firewood they have at River Region Straw. Call Kenny and the staff at 669-5959. And, boy, that premium long needle pine straw that they are famous for is available as well. Kenny and all the people wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and a great 2025. They're planning on having one themselves at River Region Straw, 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
Now, Barry, I heard you guys talking earlier today, and yes, there are a lot of states that allow sports wagering, but I do understand the state in which you two guys live in does not. So we want to make sure everybody knows we do not condone any type of gambling activity.
No. At least we are very conveniently located here at Styers, also very conveniently located for local law enforcement as well. So you won't see us admit that publicly or privately, as far as you know.
Yeah.
No types of illegal gaming are endorsed here.
None.
With the Phantom. And each one of his games, the Phantom Premium 4, is presented in order of kickoff time.
That's right. Can you read that, Barry? My printer was a little, I couldn't get the print.
It's good, yeah.
Okay, I know it's a little small there for you.
It's good. I got it. I got it. There are 4 good ones. All of them, as a matter of fact, for some reason, maybe there just wasn't any value in the Armed Forces Bowl or the First Responder Bowl, or even the Duke's Mayo Bowl, which evidently the Phantom is a big fan of.
Love Duke's Mayo, Barry. It's great on a turkey sandwich.
But each one of these, each one of the 4, deal with the 4 quarterfinal games.
Well,
in the college football playoff.
I'm glad you brought that up because with transfers, Barry, it's making things a little more difficult to handicap. Because, for instance, I heard you guys talking about the ReliaQuest Bowl coming up on Tuesday.
Right.
There are a lot of, Michigan players that are no longer on the team anymore, that have elected to transfer out, opt out, whatever it may be.
There is a running back at Alabama who has already enrolled at Michigan.
Yeah.
And
he won't be playing.
Yeah,
but
no.
He is enrolled.
Yeah.
But there are far more Michigan players that have opted out of this game for whatever reason than there have been Alabama players.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So maybe that's why that number's 12.5.
Well, I was noticing last night,
and that makes it hard on a handicapper.
Well, I mean, the whole thing has got to be difficult in college football for a handicapper. I was watching the game last night between Arkansas State and Bowling Green, and I didn't know this. Bowling Green starting running back has entered the transfer portal, and he's already committed and signed with, I think it's Virginia.
How about that?
But they still let him play for Bowling Green. What? The French toast.
Coach needed to win.
Are you kidding me?
Heck yeah.
This guy has said, I'm out. I'm done. I'm going somewhere else, but I want to play one more game with my guys. He would be on the other side of the screen door if I was his coach.
I think the coach is going, this is a biggie, Billy. It's a biggie. I need you to stick around one more game.
Yeah.
Don't go to Charlottesville just yet.
But
give me one more.
They still lost.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Give me 3 steps. That's all I need.
Yes.
As Leonard Skinner once said.
We begin.
Okay.
In the Phantoms 4, game number 1 is Tuesday, 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
The college football playoff quarterfinal at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl.
What is Verbo?
I think it's where you can get like bed and
yeah.
You know, that kind of a thing.
Okay, sure.
As a matter of fact, I think that's what my in-laws did to get us a place down in Panama City Beach last week.
Is that what Nick Saban's promoting?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one
Yeah.
where he's saying, no fun. Showers don't last more than 5 minutes. We're not a spa. Anyway, it's Penn State versus Boise State. Boise State's the higher seed in this one. Penn State comes in as the 6. Boise State as the 3. Bob Wichusen, Lewis Riddick, Chris Budden on the ESPN telecast. Penn State Phantom is an 11-point
A double-digit favorite, Barry, over a number 3 seed. Something just doesn't seem right there. Well, I'm going to throw a lot of numbers out at you, Barry, today, and your viewers and listeners here today. And a lot of numbers. Boise went 7-5-1 against the spread this season. And the Broncos were favored in 12 of 13 games. In their lone game as an underdog, the Broncos nearly beat number 1 Oregon as an 18-point underdog.
That was in the opener many months ago.
Boise lost to UCLA 35-22 in last year's LA Bowl. that the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl or something?
Yeah, I think it's sponsored by Gronk now or
yeah.
something like that.
That was the first under then interim head coach Spencer Danielson, not related to Gary.
Not at all, no.
Penn State has gone 7-7 against the spread thus far, including 4-4 against the spread as double-digit favorite. Batting 500 as a double-digit favorite. Nittany Lions have alternated between wins and losses in bowl games over each of the last 7 seasons. I know that was a lot. Do I need to repeat that? Alternated wins and losses in bowl games over the last 7 seasons. 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1. And playoff, too many to really go over how many games. The 7 games, won or lost. I'm just going to give you that.
Yeah, we're not going to go over who they won against or who they lost against.
But I think double digits here is too much to lay. I think Penn State's going to win this game.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to win it by more than 11. So I'm grabbing the 11 points in the Broncos of Boise State.
A little surprised.
I'm taking the 11.
Kind of like it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is it still Boise State, or did they drop the state yet?
They're still Boise State.
Yep. I don't get that. If it's a city, how can you be a state?
Yeah.
Don't get that.
Troy
got smart.
Yep.
Yeah, they dropped the state. So did Memphis.
Jacksonville State needs to, but everybody thinks Jacksonville is in Florida or it's Jackson State. They got an identity crisis.
All right, one down.
That's it. One down.
Yep.
Tuesday's covered.
Yep, it is.
Or gotten in under the spread, technically. Yeah. Wednesday, noon, ESPN. They're all on ESPN.
Yeah, they are.
It's the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. It's a return to Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the Texas Longhorns, who come in, by the way, as the number 5 seed against the number 4 seed and first-round bye recipient, Sun Devils of Arizona State. Despite all that, Texas is a 13.5-point favorite against Arizona State.
Yep.
Get ready, because that's Joe Tessitore, Jesse Palmer, Katie George, no relation to Jeff.
No.
Or Phyllis.
No.
That is at noon. Texas 13.5-point favorite against Arizona State. Texas, Phantom played in the arena a couple 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, they certainly did. Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
And if they win and keep going, they're going to play there again.
They sure could. No
kid.
They could play a team they've already played twice. Once in that stadium already. Another example, Barry, of a higher seeded team, a double-digit favorite over a team that got a bye. Crazy.
It is.
And I was wondering, Barry, when the last time an Arizona State team went to Atlanta to play in a contest, because I might have been at the last one Arizona State participated in. It was an NCAA tournament game at the Omni many, many years ago. Arizona State, yeah.
All right.
It was the first game of a 2-game slate. Alabama was playing. I think it was Purdue in the nightcap.
Okay,
right.
Here come
some more numbers. Here they come. Arizona State went 11-2.
Yes,
against the spread this season.
Against the spread.
Against the spread.
I thought you were talking about straight.
Their fans are happy.
Yep, Kenny Dillingham is highly popular in Tempe.
Yep. The Sun Devils closed the year, Barry, with 6 straight wins and 6 straight covers. I mean, they are on a cover roll. Woo, man. Arizona State is seeking its first bowl win since beating Florida State in the 2019 Sun Bowl. Doesn't everybody remember that?
Okay.
I mean,
the Brute Sun Bowl.
Yeah, the Brute Sun Bowl. Everybody remembers that game, don't you?
Yeah, sure. I think that was when Vern was still doing that.
I think it was. This is Kenny Dillingham's first bowl game as a head coach. Texas went 8-6 against the spread this season. Texas is seeking its first bowl win since the 2020 Alamo Bowl when they beat Colorado. Yeah, 2020.
That's surprising. They haven't won a bowl game in 4 years?
The Longhorns fell to Washington in last year's Sugar Bowl.
Right, yeah.
Which also served as a college football playoff semifinal. Dating back to his time at Washington and Southern Cal, Steve Sarkisian is 3-4 straight up in bowl and playoff games. Whoa. Again, Barry, too many points to lay here. I'm taking Sparky plus the 13.5. Not Sparky, Sparky.
Yes.
He's the
Which
name
is
of the
also
mascot.
Clark Griswold's pet name from his wife Ellen in all of the National Lampoon Vacation movies.
Yeah.
She calls him Sparky.
So give me Sparky plus the 13.5. So I'm taking 2 dogs right out of the gate.
All right.
2 dogs.
The Phantom ain't scared.
Yes.
Give him that.
Not scared.
All right. Halfway through the Phantom's Premium 4,
Uh-huh.
we go still to Wednesday.
Yep, we do.
Right after the Peach Bowl. Sit tight. It's the Rose Bowl. Presented by Prudential. Ohio State comes into the Rose Bowl, where that program has played many, many times, where they take on Oregon. It's a rematch.
It is.
Of an earlier game. It's a Big Ten versus Big Ten matchup. It's number 1 Oregon, who got rewarded for being number 1 with a bye, and then they got to take on Ohio State. Yeah, thanks. Ohio State's an 8 seed. It's Chris Fowler. It's Kirk Herbstreit, who I'm down on, and Holly Rowe from the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Ohio State, as an 8, is favored over number 1 seed Oregon by 2.5.
They are. That's interesting that the number 1 seed is yet an underdog.
All 3 of the higher seeds so far
they sure
are underdogs.
And I got to think the Rose Bowl committee very thrilled about having these 2 teams, a former, Pac-12 team going up against a Big Ten. Granted, they're both in the Big Ten now, but it's just who they like out there. They like these kind of matchups. So Ohio State closed as a 3.5-point road favorite in Eugene when these 2 teams met in mid-October.
And now it's a 2.5-point Ohio State advantage in a neutral site.
The Buckeyes went 7-6 against the spread this season. Under head coach Ryan Day, Ohio State is 3-4 straight up in bowl and playoff games. Prior to last week's win over Tennessee, Ohio State's last postseason win was against Utah in the 2021 Rose Bowl. The Utes.
You said the Utes?
The Utes. I saw Utah win a Sugar Bowl game. I forgot what year that was.
You saw part of it.
Yeah, part of it. That's right.
Yeah, that was the one he got there late.
A little late. Missed the kickoff.
Yeah, that was the one where they had the buses, the city transit buses in New York and New Orleans, welcome Utah from the Mountain West Conference. And they were in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I think they took it out on the Tide that night. All right, Oregon also went 7-6 against the spread this season. That clash with the Buckeyes was the only time Oregon was an underdog this season. Wow.
And they're underdog again. In
fact, that game against Ohio State and the Big Ten championship game against Penn State were the only times Oregon was not at least a 2-touchdown favorite this season.
Really?
Soft schedule, maybe? I know I heard you guys talking about soft schedules earlier this morning. Barry, the Buckeyes get revenge here in Pasadena. Going to go ahead and lay the 2.5 here. Ohio State wins this game by 6 or more. Really like what I saw out of Ohio State last week against Tennessee.
Yeah.
I didn't like the uniforms, though, Barry.
Yeah,
the red socks, the red pants, the red jerseys, and the silver helmets.
You look like one of those ghost peppers. Give me a break.
Yeah, it was tough.
But Tennessee. I think the Phantom's given Ohio State a little extra credit because he was not wanting to hear all those Tennessee fans chirping.
It's nice not hearing Rocky Top this week. I will have to tell you.
And we close it out Wednesday night, the third of 3 Wednesday college football playoff games. It's New Year's Day. This will take place in New Orleans, the Big Easy, the All-State Sugar Bowl, where these 2 teams have had a history, evidently.
Yeah, they have.
7:45 Wednesday night, ESPN. It is Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath for Notre Dame, who comes in as a 7 seed against number 2 seed Georgia. It's the only quarterfinal where the higher seed is actually favored Although Phantom, not by much.
Not by
It's
much
just
at all.
a point and a half.
And maybe some quarterback is the reason there. Carson Beck, of course, out, had surgery on that elbow. He will not play. So Georgia goes to the backup, a former 5-star in high school.
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton. Yeah, Barry, these two teams had a home and away series a couple of years ago. I heard you guys early this week. I believe these two teams played in the Sugar Bowl years ago for in a national championship contest.
1980?
I think so.
Herschel.
44 years ago? Woo!
Say it ain't so.
All right. Did you know, Barry, that Notre Dame went 11-2 against the spread this season? They're pretty happy up there in South Bend.
Man, that's a couple of playoff teams that have done really, really well for their fans and the people who believe in them.
Cashing some tickets. You better believe it.
11-2.
Including a current run, Barry, of 9 straight point spread covers. I think people that follow Notre Dame had good Christmases.
That's a trend.
That is a trend. They are covering big time.
Wow.
All right. Ironically, the only 2 games the Irish did not cover this season were both against MAC competition. That's a conference, if you didn't know. Not like a Big Mac, but MAC.
No.
Was it Mid-America Conference?
Mid-American Conference.
Yeah. Miami of Ohio and Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois.
Northern Illinois, yeah.
We remember it.
Notre Dame has won its last 2 bowl games, including a 40-8 win over anybody? Oregon State, yeah. In the anyone? Sun Bowl.
Man, what is it with the Sun Bowl?
Yeah, it's that brute. And that stuff lasts.
It's like the stepping stone to the playoffs.
It is, and you can step right over the border and be in Juarez, I believe.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So I lost my place here. Okay, here we go. Including last week's playoff win over Indiana, Irish head coach Marcus Freeman is 3-1 straight up in postseason games.
I really like Marcus.
He's good. Yeah. Georgia went 4-9 against the spread this season. There are not a lot of happy dog fans.
Oh my gosh.
4-9 against the spread.
That's more shocking than Notre Dame going 11-2.
It is pretty shocking. The Bulldogs were on a 1-4 against the spread skid at the end of the regular season before earning an overtime win against Texas in the SEC championship game. Man, Georgia fans, rough Christmas for dog fans.
I mean, they're happy but sad.
Happy but sad. Georgia's won 7 straight bowl/playoff games. Kirby Smart 9-2 straight up in postseason contest and has not lost since the 2018 Sugar Bowl. He won't lose here either, Barry. He will beat Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish by 8 or more. The Leprechaun has to pack the suit up for another year as Georgia beats Notre Dame and advances to the semifinals of the college football playoff. So,
each one of the higher seed, well, no, that's not true because Ohio State. This is an interesting card. I love this. I love these picks, Phantom. Let's go over them again.
I will do it, Barry. These are the Phantom 4 for the college football playoff this week. Tuesday, 6:30 on ESPN. Penn State -11 playing Boise State. We'll take Boise plus the 11. Wednesday at 12 noon, Texas versus Arizona State. The Longhorns laying 13.5. We're taking the 13.5 and Arizona State. On Wednesday at 4 o'clock from Pasadena, Ohio State -2.5. Taking on Oregon, lay the 2.5. Ohio State wins by 6 or more. And Wednesday night, Barry, it's the last college football playoff of the day. Notre Dame taking on Georgia. The Bulldogs laying 1.5. Dogs put a beat down on Notre Dame, winning by 8 or more.
On behalf of Kenny and all the staff at River Region Straw, who sponsored the Phantom and have done so for years and years, Kenny, everybody wishes everybody a very happy new year. Call them up if you need any pine straw or any of that premium aged firewood, 669-5959. And everybody wants to know, will we still see the Phantom in the NFL postseason?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Barry, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, history shows it. It's documented. The Phantom really gets going in bowl season, playoff season, and the NFL. So you want to make sure you're on that.
Coming up, you haven't seen the last of the Phantom. Brought to you by River Region Straw. Stick with us. More to come in just a moment, including our friend Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk in the Gold Sheet. He's coming up in just a little while as we broadcast live from Styers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama, in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
From Yellowhammer News, I'm Brian Tilton. It's been a while, but it's time to be weather aware again. Warm, moist air moving into Alabama today will increase our risk for severe storms. The National Weather Service says west central Alabama is in a 3 out of 5 threat for severe weather late Saturday afternoon and evening. They're concerned about the possibility of damaging winds, tornadoes, and large hail. You're urged to have multiple ways to receive weather alerts and change the batteries in your weather radios today. What goes up must come down. That includes bullets. Birmingham police have taken to social media to tell residents of the Magic City not to shoot guns in the air as part of their New Year celebrations. Falling bullets can not only cause property damage, but can also cause injury or death. While firing a gun into the air is a misdemeanor, it can turn into a felony if someone is seriously hurt or killed. You're listening to Yellowhammer News.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
We are back here at live at Styers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville. This is Alabama and Northwest Florida's largest volume Ram dealer. That means they're selling more Ram pickups than anybody in those areas. Why? Because Price sells Ram trucks, and they've got so many on the lot for you to choose from. An extensive inventory here in the front of the dealership, and the sides and the rear. But it's not 4 or 5. They're just trying to get off the lot. It is every Ram truck.
And there, and over there. They've got them all in every style, in every trim package, in every color here at Styers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Prattville. Gonna get to the topic wheel presented by Victoryland 777. And then in a minute, Ralph Michaels from the Gold Sheet and Wager Talk
as a matter
is
of
going to
fact,
join us.
I think Ralph's in the holding room. I see him. I see Ralph in the green room. He's ready to go here on this Friday. Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet. Ralph, welcome into the show. Hope you had a great Christmas and glad you're with us here today.
I did, guys. It's so fun on these weekday games, being able to turn on bowl games in the afternoon. It makes this week between Christmas and New Year's so enjoyable.
What was your take over the number of blowouts there were in the first round? What can we deduce from that?
I would say this, that I think it showed us this. An 18 playoff would have been plenty, and it would have gotten the best 8 in. And we've seen, obviously, the people on the bottom, all the favorites won, which means all the blowout losses were to seeds 12, 11, 10, and 9. So, I'm not going to say get rid of it because I understand the pageantry, the extra money, the excitement. I mean, we know NFL is king, but ESPN posted the TV ratings from last week's games.
Yeah.
And NFL normally, even against the national championship, the NFL will outdraw. I think it was 15.6 million for the KC game, or 15.3 million. And the Buckeyes in Tennessee, were the highest rated TV game, was 14.6. So that shows the power of the playoffs when you get that close to a premier NFL game going head to head against them, or at least the same day.
Right. Yeah, we've talked a lot about the television ratings, Ralph, particularly some of those teams like the Indianas and the SMUs. They didn't fare too well against the NFL. I'll be real interested to see how this round of playoff games do in the ratings. No doubt, the NFL is king. And I was hearing this morning, even the games on Christmas on Netflix, where people had to go find them, kind of not their normal on Fox or CBS, that those numbers were really good too.
Absolutely. It is what it is with the NFL, and especially this, it's, being on Netflix, I think more people have the opportunity to view Netflix than they do for the Prime games that are an exclusive on Prime, because Netflix, so many people have, or, you were able to stream for that period of time. I think they did a decent job. I was watching bits and pieces with both games, and I sort of got tired of going to the two announcers. I've never said this before. I might have preferred a commercial or two in there instead of always going to them and hearing them comment.
We're big believers in commercials.
Boy, no
we
kidding.
love commercials.
So, Ralph, before we get to the playoff games, it's starting on Tuesday night, then 3 on Wednesday. What about this weekend? I was looking at the bowl calendar. And in my opinion, things are ramping up, maybe because it's the teams that are playing, teams that maybe America's a little more familiar with. Any games today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday that have caught your attention that we might need to discuss?
Well, two interesting notes for today's bowl games.
Okay.
Tonight, the Holiday Bowl in San Diego is Syracuse and Washington. Syracuse opened a 5.5-point favorite. They're up to minus 17.5. Never in my life would I even consider betting into a game that moved 12.5 points. One thing we've seen. If you remember back to the Myrtle Beach Bowl, UTSA crushing Coastal Carolina. Coastal was a team that lost all the players in the portal, and it showed. Washington State tonight is without 32 players and 14 starters. So if there's a time when you're going to bet those, we almost saw it last night as well. Bowling Green and Arkansas State. Arkansas State was the dredge. I mean, they were probably the worst team that made a bowl playing. But what happened? Bowling Green was without 6 starters, not the number Washington State was. But when you lose quality players at the lower level bowls, like a MAC team, they lost 3 all MAC conference players. They had 3 all first team MAC conference players. All of those already signed with Power 4 teams. So when you take away the 3 best players from a MAC team, it's much different than taking 2 or 3 players away from an established SEC or Big Ten team. So, while I will not lay that with Syracuse, I would look like I like the Syracuse team total. That's a way to get around it where you don't have to lay the 17 and you think that fast tempo team. And another team that moved, the Oklahoma game Navy, Oklahoma opened up a 9-point favorite. They are now a 2-point favorite. That's crazy. But I want to remind our people, service academies, when you get to the bowls, since 2009, they are 19-4, 83% against the spread. Why? Well, in the playoffs, it's businesslike. Bowls, you're going to do some charity events. You're going to have a few fun events to do. You're going to do parties. You're going to do dinners. You're going to do those type of things. But the regiment the Service Academy kids are used to really helps them when you get to these unusual situations late in the season in the bowls. And again, 17-6 straight up with the average line of +1. That means they often pull the outright upset. And again, all Service Academies, 19-4, 83% against the spread in bowl games since 2009.
Because there's probably no opt-outs and guys looking for other things and interested in other things, but the bowl game, as the service academies would be.
Always true in the past. Actually, both bowl teams did have some opt-outs this year. There's enough eyes now. I think it's part of them being in conference play and, in the AAC, and, people get to see a lot more of them, and they do that. But they did have a few opt-outs. But again, when you're in a service academy, your offense is so consistent that there's often not a lot of difference between a first and second string, because you're not getting 4- and 5-star recruits in the service academies. So that if someone opts out, it's only a small step up. If you're playing in Oklahoma and your 5-star recruits opt out and your 4-star backup opts out and you're back to a 3 recruit, there's a huge difference in those 3 to 5 stars, where the other teams, it's not a big difference from top to bottom.
I never thought of that.
I didn't really either. That's why we have Ralph on. I mean, come on. All right, Ralph, opt-outs. I'm reading a lot about Michigan having a lot of players that are opting out, transferring wherever it may be. Their roster not as complete as maybe it was in the game when they beat Ohio State. It looks like Alabama's got most of their key players available. They're a big favorite in this game, almost 2 touchdowns. Any feeling about Alabama and Michigan? I mean, in a game that, heck, this time last year they were in a college football playoff game. Now it's just a bowl game. How do you handicap something like that?
Well, I think I mentioned, a couple shows ago that I actually had Michigan circled as one of my top bowl play. Them getting a double-digit dog, Alabama being disappointed because of the bubble burst, being the last team out in the playoffs. I thought Alabama would be in a flat spot. Like we often see the SEC lose to those non-power teams, when they get upset in the bowls they play. But, with Bama coming out and saying most of our players are going to start, it's taken me away off that. For Alabama, Milroe says he'll play. Linebacker Campbell says he'll play. Left guard Booker says he'll play. Moore is out with an injury. Cornerback Jackson says he'll play. And center Brailsford is back next year. So the only guys, I think Devontae Smith is the only guy, and maybe Haynes with over 300 snaps on the season, that aren't committed to playing this year. And on the Michigan side, in the transfer portal, their starting wide receiver, their center, a backup offensive tackle, the opt-outs, a DT, a defensive end, their running back Edwards, cornerback Johnson, and defensive lineman Grant. So because Alabama has most players playing, Michigan having most opt-outs, I'm not going to get to the Bama side, but it is going to keep me off the Michigan side, which is as important, guys, because, I always say this, leaving a winner off the table is better than putting a loser on. And people are afraid to say, oh, I would have won that. But you know what? If you go 1-1, you're losing 10% juice on every play. That adds up during the season. So take the conservative route. Don't be afraid to pass on a game. And don't be afraid, if you like one side early and you change your mind, just to cross it off and leave it off the board.
That is advice to live with, ladies and gentlemen. You look, just because they're playing doesn't mean you got to bet on it. Great stuff there, Ralph. I'm telling you. All right, college football playoff action begins Tuesday night, all day Wednesday. Is there a game or two that really stand out there? What do you think about these playoff matchups?
I am pretty indifferent. We talked about Boise. I said Boise was going to be a double-digit favorite. Penn State was going to be a double-digit favorite a couple weeks ago. They were. I don't have an opinion in that game. I lean Arizona State. I think Scadaboo could do enough. Texas, to me, just hasn't played enough quality opponents. And, their top opponent they played to, Georgia, they lost to twice. Now, I'm not saying Arizona State is Georgia, but, they're a team that I look at and I do like. My top playoff game, no question, is Ohio State. To me, they're the better opponent, even though they have 2 losses and people think Oregon's 13-0. Remember, this Ohio State team, you look at their losses, you can look at a record and see 11-2, but you go back to the Oregon game. There was 7 lead changes and Oregon kicked a field goal in the last second. You go down to the Michigan game, they could have won that game. They could have easily been 13-0 as well. And then you think about the value. They went to Oregon and they were laying 4. Now they're playing in a neutral setting with better stat profile and laying less than the 4. Realistically, Ohio State should have been laying 6.5 or 7 if you were a 4-point favorite to Oregon. And you can say, yes, they lost that game and failed to cover. But to me, when it's a game that comes down to the last second and it really is a coin flip, I really don't consider that a loss, and I take it out of the equation.
That's awesome stuff. You know what also is great? I reference this quite a bit, and I don't and I'm not just blowing smoke. The Twitter account, the X account at Cal Sports LV, Ralph Michaels, that is also great stuff. You provide a lot of information for a lot of people. How can people make sure that they don't miss any of it?
I do. I love putting charts up there. I love people becoming better betters. If there's anything you want run, the database is pretty darn extensive. So at Cal Sports LV, I think I'm at 37,000 followers. So hey, 37,000 people can't be wrong. And I don't do a lot of hype on there. I might have mentioned if I have a 5% on occasion, but really I don't use it for promotions. I use it for information to help people become better betters. And one more thing just to point out as we go into this new year, you know, there's trends and angles I give on the service academies and 19 and 4 and some other great trends we've given out. You never want to, even though it sounds like a crazy number and it could be 90% or 100%, please never base a play on a single trend or situation. It should just be part of your handicapping. Compare the stat profiles, compare the scheduling situations, compare the injuries, compare the matchups, and then add the trends and angles in. And if it helps that play become stronger, great. If it helps it become a better fade, great. Or if it keeps you off a play, use it for that reason. But I hear so many people, I post a lot of things on Twitter and they get so excited. I'm going to bet that. Please don't do that. That should only just be one part of your handicapping repertoire.
Yeah, it's great advice. All right, Ralph, before we let you go, anything we missed? Is there a game between now and next time we meet a week from today that we didn't talk about or we may need to take a closer look at?
Well, I'm going to go out on the limb. I only have one client play today, and that is the Syracuse team total over. So, you know, I shared that with you earlier about the opt-outs. When you look at who Syracuse played against winning teams, they were number 3 in tempo as far as plays per game run. They are going to press their pace. Washington State's back 7, decimated with opt-outs and injuries. I think Syracuse team total, that is actually my top college bowl play so far this bowl season. And I am off to a nice 5-1 start. So looking forward to that. So take advantage if you wish. Syracuse team total against Washington State tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern in the Holiday Bowl in San Diego.
Fantastic. Ralph, let our listeners know how they can follow you and where you are so they can get more information.
Again, on X or Twitter, at Cal Sports LV, at Wager Talk. Make sure you guys are checking out the free Wager Talk live odds and scores screen even during the day. That's WT.buzz/odds is the shortcut. Or to go to my homepage and even read my free plays, WT.buzz/RM. And I'd like to wish all of our viewers and followers a very happy and safe New Year's holiday.
Back at you, Ralph. Thank you so much. We look forward to talking with you again soon.
Great stuff, Ralph Michaels, Wager Talk, and the Gold Sheet. Some of that info, Barry, is just it's mind-boggling. It's amazing they come up with some of this stuff, but hey, they do a lot of digging and research to find it.
There's no doubt. There's a reason why so many of the people at Ralph's level, there's not that many, but they seem to know things before we figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
Because they work hard at it. And he does work hard at it, no question.
So Robbie from Greenville blowing up the chat room, Barry. Really appreciate that. Theotis, our man Tobias. Also, Danny from Margaritaville, just to name a few. Yes, Chris, when we return, the Victoryland 777 topic wheel, we'll spin it.
It's coming up with the association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speed associated with our installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Both locations offer fully stocked pro shops with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy a round during the next truck commercial, buy a round during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make 2 plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
$990. And it started it all with the Ford Explorer. You can get one for up to $8,000 off MSRP as low as $33,900 and 1.9% APR for 66 months. Folks, Styers Ford is loaded with cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to sell. Styers Ford, 4000 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery, where price sells cars. Okay, back at it here on this Friday. You know, it's kind of a December, late December kind of day, kind of overcast.
We've had such good weather for
Yeah.
such a long time. We were due an overcast day. Come on out and see us and all of the friendly sales staff here at Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're in Prattville on Cobbs Ford Road. It's Longshore and McKnight. We're checking the boxes.
Yes, we are.
Dreamland Pick 3.
Boom.
Make sure you get those in.
Yep.
Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. We're paying attention to the timestamp on your emails. So if you email tonight a pick for this afternoon's Armed Forces Bowl game, you ain't going to make
Nope,
it.
not going to make it.
NFL games this weekend, all of that counts. College of the NFL, that's all that. Check that. Dreamland Pick 3, Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. The Phantom, check.
Yep,
Check. Ralph Michaels,
check.
from Wager Talking to Gold Sheet, check. Ooh. Chris the Bammer and the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Haven't checked that one yet.
Well, Barry, I will
we go.
update the standings. Big Lou 77 no longer in first place. Is this like a Van Halen album? 80862? Oh, it was 80812 was the Van Halen album. 80862 is now leading the contest. 80862, followed by C.D. Powell, Demond
Mullins.
Then Big Lou 77, Peck Fox.
Pat
Alex,
Fox has got no chance because he did not fill out the
come on,
the national
Pat Fox.
champion.
I hate
Pride 74.
Whoa, I hate Longshore. He's making a move. Huh. Okay, so we do have a new leader in the clubhouse. 80862 is taking Big Lou out of first place. Big Lou 77, I understand. So there's your update on our Longshore and McKnight Bowl prediction contest. All right, Chris, he's saying spin the wheel. Gurn's got it loaded.
Let's do it.
Let's spin the wheel.
Here we go.
See what comes up on our Victoryland 777 topic wheel on this Friday. And head out to Victoryland, Barry, where you can win your share of a lot of money that they'll be giving away this weekend. We'll tell you more about that in a minute. All right, spin it.
Yes, here we go.
Let's see what we end up with here first. Oh, good. Yeah. We hadn't talked about this in a while.
Yep.
SEC hoops. Hey, I think we got one more non-conference game, and then boom, SEC schedule.
And then the kidding around's pretty much over with.
Yep.
As of right now, the SEC is still just absolutely killing it. Florida, Oklahoma, Tennessee, all 12-0. Auburn, Georgia, Mississippi State, Bart Heisch.
We'll get back with him next week.
And Ole Miss and Vanderbilt are all 11-1. Tennessee number 1 in the latest poll. Auburn number 2. Alabama number 5. I think it's 5 of the top 7 in the AP poll are all SEC schools. Yeah, we're getting into non-conference play. We're getting into conference play. We're wrapping up non-conference play. Nobody plays in the SEC today. There's 2 games tomorrow. Alabama actually plays on Sunday at Coleman Coliseum against South Dakota State. Here's the easy way to remember it. Alabama plays on the SEC network on Sunday at 2. Auburn plays on Monday on the SEC network at 5:30 at home against Monmouth. We got a little preview of that yesterday from Jason Caldwell, who pointed out that Monmouth, well, they're pretty bad.
Not very good.
They stink. They're 2-10.
They're not good.
That's SEC basketball as of right now. Alabama, San Diego State tomorrow at 2.
Nice.
Auburn and Monmouth at 5:30 on Monday. Both of those games on the SEC network.
We've been talking yesterday and today. I love the term healthy selfie. I love that term that Lyle came up with. It is going on during the big after Christmas 5-day only blowout sale. Marianne is here to tell us about it from Mark Reach. Marianne, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. How are you today?
Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. As you can see, you caught me on my commute. Running a little late, you know, state troopers doing their jobs out there. Thanks, guys. I'm making sure I'm watching the speed limit. So I'm in a parking lot. But one thing that you do need to slow down for, besides the state troopers, is our sale. It is the only sale we have during the year. It's amazing. It's a healthy selfie. The easiest jewelry shopping you'll ever do. Each case is marked. So there'll be $100 case, $50 case, $1,000, $500, $300, like you name it. We have every price point. We have coupons out there. We have doorbusters. I don't know if you guys have talked about that, but $99 14-karat yellow gold hoop supplies are limited. So again, slow down, make time to go into this sale. We have our 1-carat diamonds that I think Lyle's dropped the price to $299. Anyway, something crazy. I mean, like he loves to say, wacky cuckoo. It's insane. We carry around baskets. You put stuff in. We compare like what you like, what you don't like, what you want to take home. People wait all year for this sale, and there's a reason. So if you haven't been, please come. And if you have come, you want to get in because those doorbusters are going to be gone soon.
Before I go any further, I got to thank you. Dee loved the necklace that you helped me pick out for Christmas. You knew she would love it, and you were exactly right. So thank you for that. You mentioned we have this big after Christmas blowout sale. It only happens once a year for a reason. And Marianne, correct me if I'm wrong. The reason is you've got so much beautiful jewelry. You've got to get out into the showcases. You've got to make room, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The one thing that everybody loves about Marguerite's, one thing that I love is that our inventory is insane. So our jeweler is working on stuff for, 2025. It's hard to believe it's right around the corner, but we just don't have room for everything. We want to freshen it up, get new things in. So that's why Lyle started out in wholesale manufacturing. So that's what this week is. It is a wholesale, like no retail markup. You come in, you get it. So got to clear the cases. Like he says.
Sure. And of course, time is limited, Marianne, because Monday is the last day. So I know you got extended hours. It's going on through Monday, today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then it's over.
It is over. We are done. There's not I forgot. Nope. Get in, come in. We'll help you. It's super easy to shop.
Oh, we appreciate it so much. Again, she's got her cruise control set to the speed limit. She's about to turn her left turn blinker on to merge back into traffic very safely. Thank you so much, Marianne. We appreciate it. Can't wait to talk with you again soon.
Great Thank you, Marianne, for Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Barry, yeah, really. Monday's the last
That's
day,
it,
folks,
yeah.
and they're open from 10 to 6 every day. But you got to get by there today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and it's over. It is the after Christmas blowout sale at Marguerite's, 8163 Vaughan Road in Pepper Tree, adjacent to Chappie's Deli.
All the doorbusters and everything. Take advantage of
Yep.
it. Great to hear from her.
All
All
right.
right.
Time to get back to the wheel.
Let's do the wheel.
All right, spin it, Gern. Let's see what we got on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Woo, what's coming up next? And, okay. So
I thought that said Xmart Sports for a moment. Sorry.
it can be a sport.
Plural.
Barry, what are your thoughts about competition on Christmas Day? Should we be playing sport? I mean, there again, why are they doing it? People are watching, ratings, eyeballs. But what about sports on Christmas?
LeBron James, they had NBA games. LeBron was saying something. He said, look, I love the NFL, but Christmas is our time. Christmas Day is our time. Christmas Day, NBA, they get their biggest ratings of the year. Ratings have been going in the tank in the NBA, and I understand why. But Christmas is all about the NBA. I miss the blue-gray game. You know,
yeah,
I used to watch it. I've been to one in my lifetime. I know how important it was. I loved me some Fats Jones. I do miss that, but I know there's a lot of people in this area whose Christmas Day got freed up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You're right. I like the sports on Thanksgiving. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
You get ready for it. I don't recall there always being an NFL game on Christmas. I know when Christmas has been on a Sunday, they've had NFL games, but with Christmas being on a Wednesday, I thought, wow, we got Wednesday games here. Are they going to do it if there's a Tuesday? If Christmas is on a Tuesday? I could have done without it. I mean, I did see it. I did watch it. We talked about it yesterday. I just wondered about that. And LeBron, I got to tell you, no, you do not own Christmas Day because you know why? The NBA championship series until the 4th of July. We got a lot of basketball left to play.
I got to admit, I feel selfish about this, but because I normally do not watch sports on Christmas Day. Christmas Day for me is A Christmas Story. It's a Wonderful Life. It's usually a Hallmark movie or two, and all that. I'm usually not anymore watching sports on Christmas Day. Our appreciation to our buddy LSU Mark, who said, check our email. He sent the TV ratings for Christmas. I love technology. We can look right on it, longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. The average viewership of the NFL's Christmas doubleheader, again, it was on Netflix.
It was on Netflix, yes.
24.2 million, the average viewership at any particular time. It averaged out to there was going to be 24.2 million people watching any particular moment of the NFL game. Average viewership of the NBA's Christmas games, 5.25 million.
That's why they're playing them.
LeBron, the NBA doesn't belong to you. John's exactly
And
right.
when they see those numbers, Barry, people in Bristol are going to go, we got to find a way to get Alabama in this college football playoff. SMU and Indiana are killing us.
One more on the topic.
Yeah, and let me bring this to everybody's attention, Barry. Today and tomorrow are the last 2 days of the big Victoryland $125,000 free play giveaway. So today and tomorrow, you got a chance. They're giving away $13,500 today, $13,500 tomorrow at Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22, I-85 in Shorter, Alabama. Make sure you are at Victoryland where you can be a winner too.
And they bring you our topic wheel, last spin of the day.
Let's do it. Let's see what's left on the
One
Victoryland
more.
topic wheel and see what we got. We'll roll the other ones over to next week if we don't get to them, which we won't. And we're going to land on bowl games. Well, Barry, I said it earlier. I don't want to be insensitive here,
Meaning he's about to be insensitive.
But
here.
finally, we are getting to some bowl games where you actually recognize the teams that are playing.
I recognize them all.
And, name teams, if you will, helmet teams. So I'm glad about that maybe I can go, I am going to maybe give more than 5 minutes to this game. So I'm to me now, bowl season has started.
We'll be watching the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Yeah.
Right? I
will. And I'll watch these bowl games involving.
You mentioned we'll have a Tuesday show.
We will.
So we'll be tuning into that. Today, okay.
Even though the weather's not great, Barry, I think the Georgia Tech Vandy game is going to be good.
At 2:30 from the Birmingham Bowl. Yeah, that's, of course, last year it was Duke and Troy. Birmingham Bowl does things right. It begins at 11 a.m. with the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. That, I believe, is at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Navy and Oklahoma. Birmingham Bowl, Vanderbilt versus Georgia Tech at 2:30. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Arkansas versus Texas Tech at 6. That's a big game for Sam Pittman.
It is. I was thinking the same thing.
The Holiday Bowl on Fox tonight, 7 o'clock from San Diego. Washington State versus Syracuse. Ralph Michaels says Washington State is down like 30-something players and their head coach.
Oh,
yikes. And the Vegas Bowl tonight, 9:30 Central Time. Helmet game from Vegas.
You better believe
Texas A&M versus USC. Both of them are they're not good.
They're not great. Yeah, you're right.
But they're USC.
Yes, the Trojan horse,
Yeah.
the cheerleaders in the tight sweaters. Yeah, you kidding me? Syracuse is an 18-point favorite against Washington State.
I'm surprised they could even put a number on that one because
No
Washington
kidding.
State is in free fall right now.
All right.
Hey, that's going on. We will, our schedule next week during New Year's week. Of course, we're on Monday.
Certainly.
On Tuesday.
Sure.
New Year's Day.
No, not on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Back on Thursday, back on Friday. So we're back. But folks, we want you to make sure you come here to Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, Alabama, and Northwest Florida's largest volume Ram truck dealer, where you can save $20,000 on a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn pickup. And there are so many to choose from. Not just 4 or 5 they're trying to move off the lot, every one of them. So what are you waiting for? Whether it is a Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram product, nobody's going to give you a better price, better service, better deal. And, of course, they're here for you after the sale as well.
So check off those boxes. A visit to Styers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Tell your friends about Longshore and McKnight. Make sure they hit the like button. Make sure they hit the subscribe button. It's up to you.
And get on the Pick 3, Barry. Dreamland $50 gift card. Pick 3, longshoremcknight@gmail.com. Get your picks into us before your first game kicks off.
We'll announce the winner on Monday when we're back at it for our esteemed producer, Gurn Jr. himself. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. Presented in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight. Presented by